The two people who have really led this project without I couldn't have started, and it's Lachi and Tyler Darland, because it was their passion for Lachi's country that I want to tell you I'm focused on right now, okay? Because they are my primary client. I want to take care of those children. And in taking care of those children, one of the things that we have to do is recognize the country that we are going to, that we are looking at, recognize what's working, what isn't working, the problems, recognizing the problems with the government. It's a new government. Look at our government. You know, we have a Congress that doesn't work. Well, they've got a Congress that might be working better than ours. I don't know. But you have all of this in your handout packet, so I'm not going to be going over everything, okay? But the most important thing is that here we are. We really got started in 2012, August 23rd, when we went to Myanmar and met with the Minister of Health, and we had a pact agreement with a man who started a foundation over there called the Public Health Foundation, who is now our Memorandum of Understanding partner in this whole process. But that's past to present. What you basically see in this whole country is people who are happy, people who are doing just fine. And it's because that's all they have. They haven't seen the outside world yet. Only 6% of this entire country, the size of Germany and Italy combined, has a mobile phone and even knows what a mobile phone is. Within 3 years, 60%. All of a sudden, they are going to know about the outside world. So all the people who are lacking food, water, shelter, you name it, and healthcare, education, public utilities, public safety, security, all of a sudden the world's going to be open to them. So what's our challenge? Well, I get my challenge right away from the World Health Organization, because they're the ones who said these are the top 4 problems in Myanmar today. Number 1 is all the INGOs and the NGOs, international non-government organization, like Medicine Sans Frontieres, Doctors Without Borders, that you hear about even yesterday. They were all over the news because of what they're doing for the Ebola situation, okay? So they're INGOs. World Health Organization is an INGO. The Bill and Melinda Gates Organization is an INGO. But you also have a lot of NGOs starting up, like our sister foundation, the People's Health Foundation, but they're taxed to the limit. They're absolutely taxed. The second thing is there's not enough healthcare facilities. Well, let me tell you, they're very, very proud people. We have hospitals. We have rural clinics. Oh yeah, they've got maps. These things are all over the place. Well, I visited them. This room right here would absolutely look like something from Mars if we gave it to them as a rural health clinic, because the rural health clinic in Lachi's hometown is now looking kind of like this, and I don't, I mean, it's falling down, and so, that's a major problem. And then health management. There's really no health management. The Ministry of Health is under pressure in the city, which is the Naypyidaw, as well as in Yangon and Mandalay. These are your 3 big cities. They're really under pressure to build big hospitals for the people in the cities. They really aren't focusing on the rest of the country, 90% of the country. And so our sister foundation, which is the People's Health Foundation, and us, we're starting from the outside in. That's our whole idea. And then finally, there's no infrastructure. So, okay, so what do we do? Well, we're going to develop a healthcare delivery system. That's what we're going to do, okay? And there's 3 things that we're going to do to make sure that we do the best job in the best way And the first thing we'll do is build this mini medical center. Now, a little thing about the mini medical center, these people are very proud, as I said before. If we went in and told them that we're going to build rural health clinics, we'd get thrown out on our ear. So we said, okay, well, what do we do? And they said, well, we already provide all the education and health care we need. And the idea of a culture of health, that's just, they wouldn't even know how to spell that, okay? So I think that what we had to do was be diplomatic. We said, okay, what do you need? And they said, well, we need to have medical attached to it. So we said, okay, fine, mini medical center. That's what we did. And so basically, these are the rooms, and we're gonna be throwing up Wi-Fi screens. We'll have solar panels, water on the roof, very small, only 50 by 50, but that's phase one. Phase two is, I'm calling it a telecare network, but please understand the first thing we're going to do is just give them computers so that they can play with them just like kids. You know, just give it, let them play with it. Oh, look, I can actually talk to the other mini medical center and I can find out what they're doing. Fine. Because the whole point is to give them the tools for the methodology to meet their needs. Help them help themselves so that, as David Holbrook says, we stay invisible while they lead this thing. Okay. Number three comes to us mostly from what hopefully at some point will be a partner organization, which is MedShare. I've learned a lot from MedShare, which both Pat and Catherine have spent a lot of time introducing us to. And in fact, MedShare, does anybody know about MedShare and how MedShare goes into hospitals and takes out everything that in the way of supplies and equipment that they don't need and then sends them to Africa? Well, the first batch of medical supplies that came from all these different hospitals was transported by La Chi in our last trip, 50 pounds of which. So that they had boxes all over the floor, and all these doctors were sitting around going through it like a whole bunch of kids underneath the Christmas tree on Christmas morning. It was just incredible. But the key is we can't just leave them with these remote mini medical centers and their own telephony. We're going to have a central hub where we can get equipment, we can get supplies, we can watch the communication. And very important, we have another foundation in Myanmar that is going to be working with us, and they have asked us to have a memorandum of understanding, and it's the Rakhine Talaya Association, and they have already agreed they're hiring doctors who will be doing all the measuring and monitoring of everything. And that it's not just the public health and whether that's working, it's also the buildings, and whether if something breaks down, we want to make sure that people contact us so that we do the right training and we do the right support for them. But our bottom line is, our job is to listen. We're over there to listen. So we said, what do you need? We didn't say you need a CAT scan, oh, we'll bring one down, because they did that in Yangon. Somebody put a linear accelerator in the Yangon General Hospital, and God only knows what they're going to do with it. Maybe kids will climb on it. I have no idea. But we said, what do you need in rural Myanmar? And they said, well, you need training and education. So La Chi flew over there and gave them a camera, projection screen, gave them this stuff, and a computer so that they can start developing their own education materials in their language, not English, okay, and Burmese. Okay, we also just gave them a mobile health van that I understand from an email that just got to us. They have the doctor, they have a driver, they have the nurse, and they're already driving as we sit here. Well, probably not, it's probably pretty late. The roads are very, very tricky, and they're going to Chok Fu, which is the home place where we're going to be experimenting with everything that we're doing right here, okay? We're doing a lot of work in successive approximation here. The third thing is, there's the rural health clinic falling down. So they said, please replace it and also convert it to a mini medical center. Well, my gosh, we didn't have to go through any politics at all. They asked us to do this. So we said, fine. And then the last thing was more for their dignity than anything else. And this was when they asked us they said, we really need to add the medical to our rural health. And what David and I were talking about yesterday, the beauty of this is that there's a lot of sensitivity. There was a lot of sensitivity when we first started this. But once we start with the mini medical centers, we're already talking to them about converting their existing rural health centers to rural health and mini medical centers. So it'll be a combination. So David's been really pushing that, and I'm delighted because we've been talking with them more because of that. General, that's our first one. It'll be in La Chi's hometown, and we'll also put a prototype mini medical center up on a hill in Choc Phu, which is right by the airport, so that people can fly in from government and anywhere else and get a chance to see what this thing really looks like, okay? Then there's gonna be a showcase, which will be probably in Yangon, and then we'll look at 14 state prototypes, because they still need to say this is what we need. We need to have them educated enough so that they tell us what they need. We want a mini medical center. Well, what do you mean? When they said we want a van, I said, well, what do you mean? What do you want a van for? And I was thinking, well, we'll need it for an ambulance. We'll use it for an ambulance. They said, no, we need it to be able to put some people in it and drive around to all the villages. So the key is we have to set them up for telling us what they need, but then we also have to help educate, which is what we've been doing for 2 years over there. Educating them so that they can ask us the right questions, okay? And then finally, we'll do a nationwide rollout. Very simply, you have in your packets a very good timeline that La Chi put in there, but basically we're looking at November, this November, only a few months away, actually starting to build the mini medical center that will be in La Chi's hometown. And the architect is on his second pass, but third pass has to go through Derek Parker. Then there are the prototype has to be built, and then way over in May next year, we're looking at building that hub, hopefully with the help of some of the people at the other facilities. That's it.